This is by criticism number 6. I have to, Sheikh, look at the camera because it's a big one. You are, Sheikh Yasir, doubting the preservation of the Quran, and you said clearly that the narrative has holes.
Narrative has holes. Yeah. That's what I said.
Number one, did you say that first?
I said the narrative has holes, but about what? About what exactly? About the preservation of the Quran? A'udhu billah. A'udhu billah. My interview is very clear. And also I said that, you know, sometimes in an interview you don't use the best words. And I said that no doubt, astaghfirullah, the words weren't the best. But I was not speaking about the preservation of the Quran. It was about one of the most technical issues, which is Ahruf and Qiraat, and the reality of Ahruf and Qiraat. And Sheikh, your master's and PhD is in Ulum al-Quran. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Out of all of the subjects of Ulum al-Quran, you know as well as I do that Ahruf is the one that يعني تحيرت العقول, that ulama were so Suyuti has كل الأئمة. One of the most confusing issues of Ulum al-Quran is حقيقة الأحرف and all of the masail.
Can you explain it, please?
So there are a hadith mutawatir from the Prophet ﷺ that the Quran has been revealed in multiple ahruf, in 7 ahruf, right? And we also know that there are multiple recitations of the Quran that are, you know, codified, the 10, the 7, the 14, they are codified. So what is the ahruf and what is the relationship of the qira'at with the ahruf? Yes, now this is one of the most complicated and dense questions that ulama have written about. As-Suyuti lists 40 opinions in Al-Itqan, right? Ash-Shawkani also lists them. The teacher of our teachers, Sheikh Shanqiti, the one who wrote Adwa al-Bayan, right? He was asked, what is your opinion about the ahruf? And he said, my opinion about the ahruf is that I don't have an opinion. This is a Shanqiti. He's so confused. I don't have an opinion about this, right? So my point is that certain issues arose about my position about Ahruf and Qiraat that other people who perhaps haven't studied as deeply, they found very problematic. And they accused me of becoming mubtadi' or dal or even kafir because they didn't, you know. So these issues had to be clarified. So I said, you know, the majority opinion of Ahruf and Qiraat, I don't agree with it. And the narrative has holes in it. I agree, I shouldn't have used those wordings. Astaghfirullah al-azim. It's a very painful wording. The kuffar, and even some of my critics, they began saying, oh, he is saying the Quran. A'udhu billah. A'udhu billah.
You have to clarify it, please.
A'udhu billah. Ya akhi, الشك في القرآن كفر يا شيخ. A'udhu billah. الشك في القرآن كفر. أعوذ بالله. How can anybody accuse another Muslim? And ya Sheikh, I don't like saying this, I'm a hafid of the Quran. For somebody to come and say I'm doubting, أعوذ بالله, wallahi, it's painful, ya Sheikh. I agree it wasn't the best wording, but look at the interview, wallahi, it is crystal clear. I'm talking about حقيقة الأحرف, the reality of Ahruf, the reality of his relationship with the Qira'at. I have an opinion, I have a position, and I don't mind teaching it to anybody who has studied, and but you cannot explain it in 2 minutes online. And Sheikh, again, I don't like saying these things, but you know, one of the critics of mine, and again, may Allah bless and forgive them, they haven't studied these issues. They haven't. And when they hear an opinion that they've never studied, they think you are the kafir or dal mudil. So he said to me, your position is kufr, and I'm going to get a fatwa from the kibar al-ulama. I'm going to get a fatwa that you are kafir because of this opinion. I said, tafaddal, bismillah, but just one addition. Make sure they also make takfir of al-Tahawi and Abu al-Fadl al-Razi and al-Shafi'i, and I mentioned 5 or 6 people. He goes, what do you mean? I said, my opinion is exactly the opinion of fulan fulan, and I mentioned the whole list. He goes, no way they said this. And I quoted him, look up right now, look up. Khalas sakat, he didn't know what to say. They don't even know, other opinions.
Starting from
100%, my opinion is nothing new, nothing new. But please understand, I'm not bringing anything new. It's not something that, I have an opinion that is a minority opinion, and I can back it up, and I have no problems discussing with people of ilm in this regard. So this was the whole khulasatul amr.
Sheikh just was imitating a bunch of ulama, starting from Sheikh al-Imam al-Tahawi rahimahullah ta'ala. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay, criticism number 8, which is so dangerous also, that you described some from the Quran and the Sunnah text as a problematic text, and you literally said bizarre.
Again, this is something that we need to be, again, multiple angles to look at. First and foremost, if you find a clip that seems to go against everything he's preaching, you should have some husn al-dhan. What is going on? What did he mean? Okay? Unfortunately, what we find is that sometimes some of our brethren, may Allah guide them and forgive them, they take an ambiguous clip, such as this one, and they use it to negate hundreds and thousands of other clips and explicit statements. Allah says of the Quran, forget Yasir Qahdi's speech, of the Quran, Allah says, there are people that will find ambiguous ayats and they're going to read in to cause fitna, ignoring the clear ayat. Let me explain what is intended and what is going on. So, during the crisis of ISIS, the fitna that's going on, and America was on high alert. And there was legislation in 22 states attempting to ban the Sharia. Islamophobia was all-time high during this time frame. One city, for the first time, got the city council to come to its iftar, to its annual event, and the mayor to come. And they invited me to be the keynote speaker. The non-Muslim delegates were coming, and the mayor has come. So the bulk of my audience were non-Muslim. You have to understand this point. Now, sometimes when you're in front of a live audience, again, you have to think of words, and sometimes not the best words come out. So again, I seek Allah's refuge if the phrasing was wrong. But what was the intent? The intent is not problematic at all. Maybe the phrasing could be better, no doubt. But again, when you're put on the spot, sometimes you say things that you wish you could prepare the speech. You're not. So somebody asked me about ISIS taking slaves, something like this, and doesn't the Quran allow slaves and slavery? Okay, what I wanted to say, and maybe the wording wasn't best, but the concept is 100% clear, and I'm going to explain it. Actually, Allah says in the Quran, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْجِهَادُ وَهُوَ كَقِتَالُ وَهُوَ كُرْهٌ لَكُمْ. Allah says in the Quran, some things you find difficult. Okay, this is factually correct, that there are issues that you find problematic. In fact, our ulama wrote books about the problematic issues of the Quran and Sunnah.
Like who?
Ibn Fawrak, right? Mushkil al-Hadith. At-Tahawi, Sharh Mushkil al-Athar, right? Explaining the problematic ahadith.
This is
he has 11 volumes, ya Shaykh.
Oh, mashallah.
11 volumes. 11 volumes. Explaining problematic ahadith. He is saying we have problems understanding. It is problematic for us.